All right, we wanted to bring you all together today to talk about the A.R.K program that you all implemented, Adults Relating to Kids. And when we had our training back in August, the one thing that we asked you all to do is, in order for the program to be done with fidelity, that you all do it a minimum of twice a month. And instead of doing it that way, you all did it almost every week. Why did you all decide to do it every week? Because that's not what we required you to do. You all went the extra mile and did that yourselves.
Well, go ahead.
Well, I think it was, for the first reason, it was almost like because there's a lot going on. So the time we wanted to kind of get it over, not as quick as possible, but get it all done within a certain amount of time because we do have a lot going on. But also I think the fact of having it done every week actually builds a stronger bond between the teachers, because instead of having to wait a whole other week to come back and have another meeting or discuss what's going on between us, we were able to do that once a week. So it builds a stronger relationship between the teachers within the different groups.
Okay. Anybody else? You were going to say something?
I was going to say we're very fortunate to have A.R.K here on our campus, and the reason being is because we recognized that we had some deficiencies in that area where we really wanted to grow in building our relationships with our students, ultimately to ensure that they are successful academically. And so we realized that student achievement would not happen without the relationships, and so that's one of the primary reasons why we really wanted to focus hard and heavy early on and build that relationship capital with our students.
Okay. I love that word, relationship capital. That sounds great.
That does sound good.
What did you all enjoy most about A.R.K?
Well, for our group, it was definitely come together and share the same kind of issues that we had with our kids and come up with some solutions. And we did it every week, and it did really, really, really help us.
And they locked themselves in their room. I couldn't even come in
You
to order
wanted to
cookies. I was knocking on the door like, it's just me, it's Kate
We were
with
like,
A.R.K.
we're in a meeting.
I'd be like, nope,
later.
sorry.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
She was serious.
Miss Cardenas is serious.
Very.
What about
I would even come with cookies and she wouldn't even let me in.
Me too. What about some of the rest of you? What'd you like about A.R.K?
My experience was different. I did A.R.K in the classroom with my students, and they enjoyed it so much to where they would ask me, "Are we doing situation circle today?" And I planned a whole lesson around them having the ability for me to create a safe culture, a safe environment for the kids to be able to share an issue that they would be having. And we watched videos, and I really wanted them to hone in on the different skills that A.R.K was offering to these students. And now they still say, we had a situation circle, and they loved it because they felt safe enough to talk about personal issues that helped them, and they got opinions from their peers that would help them make decisions based on the situation they were going through. So they loved it.
Without giving names or particulars, can you throw out a couple of situation circles and things that were talked about? Not in detail, I know.
Of course. There was a student who had to choose between whether they should stay with dad or stay with mom, but they didn't have a relationship with the dad. So the kids all talked about the pros and cons of whether they should, stay with mom, going with dad. What if dad is hurt? And they would ask questions about, well, do you know they would ask questions, and they talked about, well, if it was me, this is what I would do, or can you split between the two? The student never disclosed what decision, because we always said, say thank you and keep going. And this student said they felt better at the end of situation circle because they felt like they had the opportunity to hear different opinions, and they had the opportunity to express something that maybe they couldn't do in other classes.
My experience was a little different. I had the parent group. And what I found out with the parent group, because we met once a month, it just really, I think it kind of they didn't really gel as much as I think they could have. They've been coming on a regular basis. So every month we had almost a different group. So I guess the relationship, of building a relationship, really didn't take effect the way I think it could have had they been coming on a regular basis. So it kind of varied from month to month. And as it turned out too, we felt like we always had to kind of like start back over and tell them who we are and what we're doing, because it was never the same group of people. So that was kind of a drawback with me, but we managed. Matter of fact, we just had one on yesterday too.
Do they use the situation circle technique?
Yeah, we attempted to use it, but it turned out basically just kind of like a help group
Yeah.
for the parents who, it's kind of like a networking system where they kind of just depended on each other to kind of help them with various situations. I guess you would call it a situation circle, but it kind of turned out like, help me solve this problem.
Well, next year, hopefully, it can be done more than just once a month.
Yeah.
When you see it's effective like that, then maybe we can work on that. Anybody else?
I would say, like I said earlier, my favorite part of it was being able to grow closer to my colleagues, because we often see each other in meetings, but we never see each other outside of like the classroom or outside of lesson planning in different clinics. So actually being able to see my colleagues as people instead of teachers, and seeing the way they grew after watching the videos and after situation circles, and actually seeing the growth in how we dealt with students after dealing with the situation circle was the best part for me, because you actually got to see adults grow. You typically don't look at adults and watch them grow in like a whole new light. But instead of seeing the kids grow, we got a chance to see like the adults grow within their relationships with the different students.
And just to add to hers and my group, it gave us a chance to actually see that you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're in your classroom, it's just you and your students. But then in the meetings, all of the teachers got to share what they're going through and what they're dealing with on a daily basis. So it actually helped us all to see that, okay, we're all dealing with this and we're not alone. And we use a lot of each other's advice to help us in our classroom. So I enjoyed that.
Can any of you share, like, without being personal or anything like that, possibly a situation circle that was resolved through the use of a situation that was resolved through the use of a situation circle?
I had two students. I couldn't figure out what the problem was. Because they would look at each other all, and then they would go back to working, and then they would look, and I was like, I said, do we need to have a situation circle? And once we had the situation circle and found out that it was simply a misunderstanding, and that's all it was. I heard you said. I didn't say that. I was like, oh, okay. And from that day forward, like, they're inseparable. They were once friends, then they weren't, and it was becoming apparent, because when we would put them in groups, it would be this tension, and I was, what's going on? And then once we got to the heart of the matter, that it was just it was a misunderstanding, as like middle school students do. He said, she said. They're inseparable now. I see them in the hallways. They're in different classes. They're still talking. That was the one piece that I like seeing. I like the fact that, and even now, sometimes when we're doing a situation circle, they say, I have a situation. And as much as I'm like, we have a situation circle, I've stopped doing what I was doing so if they need a situation circle that bad, I'm willing to stop and do it so that we can have, so that they can get that situation done. Because in my opinion, if a student has this on their mind, they can't focus on their work. And so if they need that opportunity to get that situation out, and I know that at the end of it, it's going to be resolved, I'm all for it. And that's what happened. Once we got it done, it was fine.
So having that conversation where it's kind of structured and it's, there's rules to the conversation, it helps so that, you can solve problems more easily that way.
It was wonderful. After that, it was no problems.
And Jackie and I loved seeing when we came in and stopped in on a situation circle, because all the kids were just so good in order, the way that they said thank you, the way that they, you know, were very attentive to their peer and who had a situation. So, I mean, it was awesome watching you and the kids do that.
Thank you.
I love that.
Which brings up a question, because we have all these rules. Now, you don't know this because you're
No,
not
I
supposed to
don't
be
get
in
a
there.
chance. That's right. That's
But-
been made clear to me.
Yeah. But it was also made clear to you that nobody talked about you, right?
Oh, oh well, who
Unless it was
knows?
in sweet terms. The respect agreements, did you all find that helpful?
Yes, I like that. It's kind of like ground rules up front, so they, I like that.
If you all could add any respect agreements to it or take away, what would it be?
The time, probably. Because it, you know, you said it was 45 minutes. And there was times that, you know, we were so engaged and then, you know, we were like, and Mr. Binet was like, you know, it's time. And we're
Like to
like,
table at your next meeting.
you know,
Yeah.
yes. And they were like,
So you're saying you wish that if the group met longer than
Duration
45
of the
minutes?
meeting.
yes.
Well, that wasn't set in stone, y'all could have. As long as you got his approval.
I think you guys probably also had other things that you
Yeah,
had
well,
to
yeah,
do with
but,
it.
you know,
Right.
that was the initial agreement, do it for 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So we did follow the time.
That's good. I know you guys probably followed the agreements, respect agreements to a T. I know your group probably did.
Is there anything that needs to be changed about it, the respect agreements and that sort of thing? We're always wanting to,
Well, I know you said 2 times a month. In our group, we met once a week. It did help a lot. So like she said, once a month was not enough. So probably have the suggestion of once a week.
Right, for
You know,
future schools,
yes.
just laying it out there saying once a week is better than every other week.
And right now, like, we can say like, oh, we need an ARK meeting or something, you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, that's
even
true.
though-
You can
request
use it.
one?
Yes, even though
Yeah.
we're not doing the program anymore, we'll sometimes say, you know, oh, we need an ARK meeting and blah, blah, blah. And I have this issue with this student, or, you know, how can you help, or what do you know about this kid, or
yeah.
I need advice, I need help, I need this, I need that, and we all come together and discuss it.
Did you all ever calculate how many years of teaching experience you had within each of your groups? Do you remember
mean
how
adding?
do you remember how we did that when we did our training, you know, and I went around and said, how many years have you all been teaching? And we were talking about the wisdom of the group, you know, how many years of experience?
I'll tell you, another reason why this program has been awesome, I'll tell you, well more than half of the staff is somewhere between 0 to 3 years. And so what I've really appreciated is that although we don't have as many veterans here on the campus, and I would say another quarter or in 0 to 2 as it relates to being in secondary years. And so although we don't have as many veteran teachers on our campus, the ability to have that think tank, to have that the opportunity to work with your colleagues really grew our staff exponentially. And what I'm most excited about is watching this group, this cohort of teachers continue to grow together. I mean, this staff is just going to be, I mean, so dynamic, and we'll be able to change so many lives because as they stay together, you know, they've been through so much together, and they didn't necessarily have the opportunity to lean on as many veterans as other campuses do.
Well, that's a good point. That is a very good point. Because on a lot of campuses, you have a lot of new, but you have a lot of veteran teachers. But even when you have that mix, a lot of times there's never any time for you all to learn, as you said, to lean on one another and to, you know.
And that's what we've heard from like other schools, that this program, it's a time for teachers when we focus so much on kids and getting together to talk about the kids and what's going on in their lives and how to work with them academically. But this is a time for teachers to come together and just basically peer mentor one another through different things that they're going through. as a teacher, that your neighbor might be having the same issue as well.
In our group, we had several situation circles of new teachers wanting advice and how to handle certain things and how to manage certain things, because when it's your first year, it feels like you're just thrown in there. And you're
And sometimes
trying to
you
swim.
are.
So they were able to get a lot of advice from other teachers. So it was very helpful.
What else you want to share about your art groups and the experience that you've had?
I would like more topics for my students because I ran out. So I just started inventing stuff.
You're very good at
I just started because I went through the book and then I was like, this is it, this is all I have. And then once I went through the book, I was just like, well, maybe this is a good topic. And once we went through our topic, and then we had the situation circle, somehow the topics always led into the situation circle. So if we were discussing trust, it would be like a trust issue in the situation circle. So I would have liked, once I went through the book, I would have liked more topics that I could focus on. And that was the only piece of it. I ran out, I go, what do I do now? Oh, I'm gonna invent some stuff. So I took what y'all had and built from it, and the kids loved it. And I still do it every week, every opportunity that I can get with the students to do situation circle. I try to do it. I've invited everybody, come look and see what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that was the only piece. Once I ran out of topics, I was like,
What do I do next? And being the creative person that you are, you know, those topics were derived from a group of kids that were going to the Texas Can Academy. And we just got, it was kind of like a focus group, and it was like, if you could talk about anything, what would you like for adults to hear, and what would you like to discuss with your peers? And that's how we came up with those. So it would really be helpful for you to talk to your students and say, what are some other subjects and topics that you'd like to talk about? And let's see, you know, what we can come up with. Did you all use the workbook pages? Okay.
And I like the idea because I remember you had talked about maybe getting them to come up and like write a lesson or something, but not finish it.
right.
Right. I
They
like
would
that.
write about a scenario, but I said, don't solve it, we'll solve it in a circle.
Oh,
Really creative.
It's innovative.
Yeah. It was really fun to watch.
and if you don't hear it enough, it's self-talk.
Yeah.
Positive
Yes,
self-talk.
I will pat my own back.
Okay.
Encourage
Okay.
yourself, I know.
And as Mr. Smith said, it helps, A.R.K helps teachers grow together and feel more like a team. Did you guys feel that when you're with, like you said, meeting more frequently helps, facilitate that relationship with your peers?
Can you all give specifics about how it helped you in your classroom with regards to relating to the students in your classroom, the students for you, the students in the hallway, that sort of thing? Could you sense a change in your relationship with your students through the lessons that you went through in A.R.K?
It made my classroom safe. It made my students become instead of them being peers, they became a family, and I loved watching that. I loved watching them, have that, oh, I'm sorry you're going through that type thing. We want to help. I watched my kids go from, I'm not talking about that, to I can actually talk about this situation and know that it's not going to go anywhere. So my classroom grew together from A.R.K.
Okay.
I would say because with a lot of our students, building the relationships is the foundation of teaching a lot of these kids. Because if they don't like you, or maybe if they feel like you can't relate to them, they won't open up to you. So I feel like some of the actual lessons actually opened up to, instead of first wanting to go at the kids like, why'd you do this, why'd you do that, had you stop and think about, well, maybe they did this because of that. So it made you come at the kids in a whole different way, instead of always trying to come at them saying, stop this, why'd you do that? No. It made you think about, well, maybe this happened previously, so this is why they did this. So you came at them in a whole different way, maybe a softer tone, or maybe you got to know the best way to approach this kid and the best way to approach that kid, because you can't approach every kid in the same exact way. So it made you stop and think before you act. Stop and think before you actually act with dealing with the kids in certain situations.
Okay. Who else?
I'll say, like, our campus-wide, one of the things that has really been exciting for me to watch and see is the rapport and the relationship that has been established, not necessarily with every student directly with me, but with the teachers or with some particular staff member, to the point where there are some critical things in there. Believe you me, there have been some critical things that have happened on our campus this year. But there was never one situation that I can think of this year that took place on our campus without us having some prior knowledge to what may be happening, or without us having some early window into how we can help and quickly intervene. Because even if they didn't come to an administrator directly, there was someone on the staff that they felt comfortable enough to talk with, and we were able to get that information, as pretty quickly, and prevent some things and intervene early in other areas. And so that's really been exciting to watch, because there is this kind of motif out there in some of our communities that, snitches get stitches.
Oh, I've never heard that.
You haven't heard that one?
I've not heard that.
So, although that may exist out in the community that externally surrounds us, it's exciting to see that even they've respected our growing community here enough to know that we're here to be a safe place for all students and for all staff. And so even if that's the culture out there, in here there's a different culture.
That's true.
As a program director for A.R.K, is there anything that we could do more to assist you guys, like for next year, to support you, to help you get, make sure everybody comes to the, like, do you ever have issues with people coming to the meetings, or was that pretty good? I know you guys pretty much did your own thing. I would send you emails about it prior to, and then I had faith that you guys were getting it done, but is there
Lunch
any-
from Saltgrass would be awesome.
There you go.
Why not throw that in there?
Yeah.
Is there anything?
You asked, I asked, you're right.
You did ask.
You asked.
And you know, she said she's the program director. So, go ahead,
asked the
go
right
for
one,
it.
huh?
Yeah.
All right. And then I do know with Miss Taylor's group, I definitely want for next year, we've kind of done some things with Parent Connect and things that we could do to bring in more parents. And you're right, I think meeting once a week is definitely more efficient than the monthly meetings, because that is hard, because you have to start over again.
One last question, unless you all have something else you want to share. One last question is would you recommend A.R.K for teachers, A.R.K for teens, A.R.K for parents to other schools, and why? And if everybody could take a turn saying something, it would be great.
Well, I would certainly recommend it to my parents, because it serves as like a networking system. A lot of these parents, their kids go to school together, but they don't know anything about them. And this is an opportunity for them to come and share in a non-threatening environment, and as well as kind of provide them with some support of some issues that maybe that they are needing some guidance on themselves. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it to other parents in other schools.
Thank you.
I would recommend it as well. I think as with anything, we're all trying to grow. We're trying to grow as teachers, we're trying to grow as parents. I'm not a parent, but I'm sure it's a constant,
Sure.
constant growing process.
You're a parent to all these kids. You've got a lot of kids.
So I think A.R.K helps in all of those areas. It helps with becoming a better coworker. It helps with becoming a better teacher. Not only that, the things that we discuss in the ARC meeting, you can take that outside of, outside of your work life. And as parents, parenting can be very hard. So if you can get with other parents who care about the same thing you care about, it can help the children. Thus, it can help us in the classroom. So I would definitely recommend it to other schools and other parents.
Thank you.
I think it's I'm just going to go back to what
Yeah.
what she said. I think it's a very effective program as well as an inspiring program, to whoever participates. If you are not just a part of it, just kind of looking at the videos. Even if you don't share in the circle, I think you get something out of the lessons that are presented.
Thank you.
I guess I'm next. So I would definitely recommend it, yes, because like I said before, and I think we've all said, it allows you to see growth within coworkers, it allows you to build on those relationships with students, which once again is like the foundation of teaching for teachers, especially within our school and within our environment. And it allows you to step out of the element of being a teacher at that moment and just being a person and being able to relate to your other teachers and knowing that you're not the only person dealing with this problem. So you're able to relate to your fellow colleagues and also build relationships with them from dealing with the issues that we all pretty much face on a day-to-day basis. So,
And like Ms. Henry said and Dr. West, it helped us a lot to, grow up together as a team, but also rely on other teachers. Okay, so you had this kid last year. What can you tell me? How can I help? This kid does this kid does that. You have any ideas? So definitely recommend it to other schools.
The ARC for Teens is an amazing program. And I loved the fact that I saw my kids grow from this is just my peer to I'm comfortable to talk with my peers about problems that I may be having that I know won't go any other place. To see them grow to this is just like somebody who I'm in class with to I can share something personal and feel respected enough to continue to share it, and we're going to talk about the different topics, and I'm experiencing this topic. I have a parent who is doing this, or I have a friend who's doing that, and for them to be able to share their personal experiences and to see them take that experience and then leave feeling better about the situation made it all worth it. To hear their thoughts about what they think about certain topics, about trust and substance abuse and body images, especially in middle school, was so awesome to see them go from, okay, I don't like myself to, you know what, I'm okay. I feel good about myself was probably one of the best things. And the great thing about me is that I get to sit back and watch. They do it all. And so the students have an opportunity to express themselves the way they need to and give them the freedom to be who they want to be in that particular moment.
Thank you. One thing you might do before the end of school is see if there's any respect agreements that they want to add or take away that they think kids that age would find valuable, that they could stick with, that sort of thing.
They probably memorized affirmations.
Yes, we say
Yes, they do.
Because if you don't love yourself,
yeah. How do you love somebody else? Can I get an amen? And they go, amen. We do say the respect agreements every single day.
Wow.
That's good.
We say them every day. I accept and love myself. And that's when they go, if you don't love yourself, how can you love somebody else? Can I get an amen? They go, amen.
Fantastic. Maybe the whole school needs to start off that way every day. I agree. Can I get an
I'm good with
amen?
it. Amen. I'm actually good with it.
that's how our
Okay.
training was.
Anybody else you want to?
I would just say I would recommend it just because teachers need a support system too, and teachers need a safe space. A lot of times we spend a lot of time thinking about what students need, but teachers need those same things in order to provide for students. And so even just sitting here and hear you guys talk about it, it sounds like it was a great support system for teachers to be able to share and be vulnerable also.
And I'm just, I don't think I've been shy about making my feelings known about
No, you
art.
haven't.
But But I will say I'm just so grateful to have ARK here on our campus, and would gladly recommend it to any other campus that's serious about growing kids and growing our community. And what ARK really does is provide a value-added structure to making sure that relationships are really a priority. And so I'm excited, looking forward to continuing on our campus, and would happily recommend it to any other campus.
Great. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Anybody else have anything they want to add?
Closing remarks.
So is that lunch thing happening?
We'll talk about it. We'll talk. You might be able to figure something out.
She'll get a second job this summer, so you can pay for that.
I'll pay to cater the meetings.
Well, we really, really appreciate you all taking the time. I know you had kids to tutor, and for you to come in here and do this, thank all of you so much. And just for the camera, the people that are sitting around this table are the facilitators of these small groups of 15 or less teachers, and that's why they were brought in here together, is to kind of, they had a bird's eye view of what was going on and what the expectation was, and I think I can safely say it was not a disappointment.
Oh, no.
No.
And I really, really appreciate that. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay,